Good morning. So it is Wednesday, October 23rd. And I got up early this morning and drove about 100 miles, which would be, what, 140 kilometers? My math is right. From where we live in Forest Park to Warren Dunes State Park in Michigan. And so I'm going to do a little bit of photography here. Right now I'm parked right by Lake Michigan. There's a pretty stiff breeze coming in off the lake. And then I'm going to head over to Warren Woods, which is kind of a little remote site that's a part of Warren Dunes. But it is actually old growth forest, one of the few remnants in this area. So, but yeah, got up. Had the EV6 fully charged to 100%, showed 340 miles on the guessometer, so this is not a stretch at all. If I want to, there is an Electrify America station on the way back that I could top off at. And because I have like 1,000 kilowatts free, 1,000 kilowatt hours free from Electrify America, because I bought or leased this car and it comes with that, I may do that because I've used them once before we got a charger put in. So I may stop off and just top off just to use some of that because it expires after 2 or 3 years. So that's where I got to use it. It's just kind of a perfect day for photography. It's a bit cloudy but not dark. And the colors as I drove in here are really, really nice. I left the beach area really windy, a lot of blowing sand. And I'm over parked by the nature area, or nature trail. And today I was considering bringing my f2.8 zooms, the 35 to 100, the 12 to 35. And then I decided against it. One of the reasons is because there's a lot of sand here and changing lenses could be problematic. So I have the 14-140 with me, f3.5 to 5.6. Image quality wise, not quite at the level of the f2.8 zooms. It's not to say it's bad, but if you look at images from both, you can kind of tell the difference. But it's good enough. And once you go through some, taking care of the residual chromatic aberration that you get with the 14-140 at wide angles, and maybe run it through Topaz, the images look pretty good. So it's not that big of a deal. It's a guy coming in here on an ATV. He might be going past. I might be at Park Worker. So I'm at the nature trail. You can't hear it. You probably can't hear it, but I can hear the lake. So that surf, not that big. We're at the south end of sort of the southeast coast of Lake Michigan, and this lake is 300 miles long, roughly 500 kilometers, which means if you plunked it down in the UK, I think it would stretch from about the channel up to the Scottish border or thereabouts. So if you get, especially in a winter storm, wind coming straight down the lake, you get some pretty sizable surf. We're talking 10 feet or more. Anyway, I'm going to take a walk, get some images, and just enjoy the day. Nice thing about the nature trail here is actually there's 2 trails. You have a choice. You can come out into the dunes. I'm looking north here, got a dune behind me. And then there's also a trail that goes into the woods. So I'm going to do both today. I'm going to walk here into the duneland. In my younger days, I'd climb that dune. Not going to happen today. What's nice about it right now is it's a weekday and it's fall and we're out of season and there's practically no one else here. So that's nice. Well, I actually did climb a little dune. So I'm up on top. Pretty windy up here, but that climb is right behind me. In fact, I think if I walk, I got this thing tracking me. If I walk back here, you should be able to see it. Came up this trail through the dune, dry sand, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. You know all those YouTube videos with those young guys, young landscape photographers, and they're like, they'll set up a shot and walk through it. Yeah, I'm not going to do that here. Yeah, it's been a long time. I'll bet you it's been at least 10, 15 years since I have actually been here. This is an amazing place. Well, I'm back home. After walking out into the duneland, I did go back behind the dunes into the woods there, but I didn't really get shots I was happy with. And I also went over to the Warren Woods section, and by that time the sun was coming out, so it got really kind of contrasty. I did get one shot right before I hopped in the car to come home. This is Warren Woods Road, which kind of goes past Warren Woods Preserve on the north side, so we're looking west here. And also I did stop at the Michigan City Electrify America station to top off to 80%. When I got there, I was a touch over 50%. High-speed charger, took me 12 minutes to top off to 80%, and I was on my way. So not a huge deal. If that kind of station were everywhere, people wouldn't have a problem with 300-mile electric vehicles. But every shot that I took, except for a couple at Warren Woods, where I switched over to the 9mm Leica lens, I took with the 14-140, and this is the weather-sealed version. And the more I use this lens, the more I like it. As I mentioned previously in the video, it's not quite as crisp as the f2.8 zooms, the 12-35 or the 35-100, but you step it down a little bit and it gets really good. So generally what I do is just walking around. I usually shoot in manual mode with auto ISO, so I can directly control my shutter speed and my aperture. What I usually do is I set this lens to f5.6. So essentially it becomes an f5.6 constant zoom. So at the wider angles, you're stopped down about a stop or so. And it's pretty good there. Stopping it down to like f8, it gets totally sharp. I mean, no problems at all. So when you're doing landscape photography, you know, you want everything in focus, stop it down to f8, take advantage to the power OIS, image stabilization in the lens, and of course in the G9 Mark II and also the G9II. They have very good image stabilization. So not much need for a tripod. When I was walking around, I had my little lightweight slick tripod, but I had the Osmo Pocket 3 on that for recording myself, and everything else I did with handheld with the G9 Mark II, including that video. So you can tell a little bit in that video. You know, image stabilization is really good. I added a little bit in Final Cut Pro. But all in all, I am very happy with this lens. As I've mentioned, I believe previously, I also use it for some photojournalism work, primarily outside, primarily on bright days. If it's a bright cloudy day, I will use it. If it's a dark day, I won't. But it gives me the advantage of not having to change lenses when I'm covering an event where I might have to be zoomed in on a speaker, and then I need to be zoomed back out to capture a bigger view of the event. So there's that. Highly recommend this lens as kind of a one lens solution or travel lens. If you still want to travel with a Micro Four Thirds camera, this is the perfect travel lens. Do I miss the 12 millimeters on the wide end? Not really. I have the Leica 9mm, so I can always switch over to that. Could probably crop in a little bit if I don't need it that wide. But I have not run into a situation yet where the 14 rather than 12 millimeter wide angle bothers me. All in all, quite happy with it. Hey, if you have any questions or comments or any insights on this lens, pop them down below into the comments. And if this was helpful, useful, interesting, pop the like button, please. That is a big help to me. I'm Todd Banner. I will see you next time.